Welcome to the Cycling Esports Show. This week we'll be having a closer look at the first ever British National eRacing Championship. We've got an interview with Cameron Jeffers, the winner of the men's race. We'll be catching up from round 7 of the Women's Kids Super League, and Ollie and I will be going head to head up a mountain on Zwift.
Yes, that's right. Keira and I went toe to toe up the Epic KOM climb on Zwift. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up later on in the show. But first, here's what happened in the world of virtual racing this week.
Welcome to Watopia for the penultimate round of racing in the Women's Kiss Super League. One for the climbers as the peloton took on Watopia's mountain route. As expected, the group split almost immediately at the bottom of the climb, with all-stars Louise Huback, Leah Dixon and Sharon Bird driving the pace at well over 300 watts, to such a degree that a front group of 6 had fallen with just 13 minutes raced. As they climbed into the snowy abyss towards the top of the mountain, the group had built a lead of 40 seconds over the chase. Interestingly, there was just one pro, Elise Shabby of Bigla Cervelo, among the lead group, underlining the strength of the amateur riders in the Women's League this season. A brilliant attack from Hoback with 17 kilometers left whittled things down to just 3 at the front. Cue a vicious attack from Dixon with 2 kilometers to race, and it was cat and mouse between her and Wilkinson for the win. Into the sprint, and Wilkinson went early, only for Dixon to put down a whopping 13 watts per kilo in return and take it on the line. The third win for the All-Stars this season, giving them an all but insurmountable lead in the overall, heading into the final round next week. Don't miss it.
On Thursday, 28th of March, the first ever British National eRacing Championships took place. It was a hell of an event, the biggest spectacle Zwift have ever put on so far. They were filmed live and broadcast at the same time at the BT Sports Studios in London. 10 men and 10 women were competing after getting through the qualification round back in February. That was open to anyone who thought they were tough enough. There were 3 races in the final: an elimination race, a points race and a scratch race, with points awarded in each race. The rider with the most points at the end of the scratch race was crowned the winner. It was all pretty simple stuff, and there was even prize money awarded to the winner. The Women's Championship was won by former rower and Zwift powerhouse Rosamund Bradbury, and the Men's Championship was won by cycling YouTube star Cameron Jeffers. He beat the likes of KSL stars Ian Bibby and John Mould in the final, and we caught up with him after the dust had settled to see what he made of it all. British National eRacing Champion. I think that's the correct term. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's quite a long title, yeah. British Zwift eRacing National Champion.
How does it feel?
Yeah, I don't know. A little bit of a relief. A lot of hard work went into it. It was nice to make a plan, work to that plan, and sort of execute it. And you know, it all played out on the day. And you know, yeah, we came home with the stripes.
The finals then. So going into that, I mean, I think certainly most people were thinking that the Bibby was going to dominate. And why do you think that didn't happen?
Like, I knew Madison had the power in terms of out and out numbers. They're all professional riders. I'm just an amateur. But the one place that I was going to be able to, I thought that I might be able to, if I was going to beat them, would be on my tactics and sort of my skill behind the game. So learning the mechanics of the game. So for example, in the final, Madison were really trying to bring it to me, and they were just constantly attacking. But the points that they were attacking, like, I knew that where they were attacking, it wasn't going to put me in any danger. For example, double draft was enabled, which essentially is what it is. And Bibby was attacking on like the flat and downhill sections. And to attack off the front of the bunch with double draft enabled, you have to do a considerably large amount of watts for a long period of time to get a significant gap and to ride away. And it was so easy. I remember looking across to John Mould when he was attacking, and I was just looking at him, thinking, like, cruising like behind him, and he was like going as hard as he could. So yeah, kind of just putting all of that together. I did a lot of course research, course knowledge, looking where the climbs were coming, which position I needed to be in at which particular point of the course. And yeah, through all that, we managed to put it together on the day and pull off the win.
The final race, the scratch race, we were speaking to Greg Leo, the Zwift expert, just a little earlier, and I would agree with him. It was probably the most exciting finish to a Zwift race I'd ever witnessed.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that? So you were 4 points up ahead of Mary Wilkinson going into the scratch race. It was neck and neck until the last 100 meters, and somehow you managed to just hold her off.
Yeah. I mean, it was too close for comfort, but I knew that it was going to be really tough, because although obviously I was 4 points up, but if she won, she'd have got 5 points. So it was really just, I knew I had to beat her. So yeah, I went, and also the other thing is, for me, it's got to be go early in the sprints. So that's going to be, it's painful, but it's better. It's my way of, people can beat me on a shorter sprint. So yeah, but I could just see her coming back for that last bit and just praying that the line would come quick enough.
Yeah, because Mary seemed to make a slight error. She used up her power up, maybe with sort of 2K out or something like that, 3K out.
Yeah, I think it was at the top of that hill. Leah, the other girl who was in there 3 with us there, she used a power up just before the top there, and I think Mary felt like she needed something to stay with her then. But I think I was lucky that she did use it then, because I planned to save mine till the end, and potentially could have been even closer or the other way if she had kept hers.
What were the talking points for you?
This one panned out to be really exciting at the end. You sort of expect the action to be during the climb, but I thought the really exciting part was watching this kind of this 3-up sprint, which turned into a duel kind of at the end between the two all-stars, Hobach and Dixon, I believe, and Mary Wilkinson on the Dream Team.
Yeah, I think for me, special mention to Louise Hobach. I mean, going up that mountain, she was putting down some ridiculous power. And it seemed like they had a plan to set Leah Dixon up for that final sprint.
That's right. Yeah, I think so. And, the interesting thing is you've seen so many different women from the All-Stars win now. Last week it was Britt Mason. We've seen Hobach and now also Dixon up there. So they've got really a powerful team that they put together for this series.
The biggest spectacle of this kind so far that we've seen, certainly the biggest spectacle that Zwift have put on. What did you make of it all?
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the format. I think that the whole event seemed to me very polished, from the selection of the formats to the production, the video production. And I know that the riders were really impressed with the setup there. I think, Zwift really took care. They've taken sort of learnings from doing little live events, and things like the KISS Crit last year, and then having all these little live events with the pro teams during the Super League. I think they took a lot of the learnings from those live events and brought them into the BC Nationals to make sure everything went very smoothly. I mean, we saw a few hiccups in the women's race with some technical issues where they had to restart one, but they immediately knew what to do. They got it back off the ground. All the women were happy with the resolution. And I mean, the racing was so exciting. That Bradbury Wilkinson sprint on the scratch race to determine who was going to win was one of the most exciting moments in Zwift racing that I've ever seen. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just to think back on it.
Next up is the moment you've all been waiting for. Ollie and I go head to head to see who the strongest presenter is. There's only one thing for it, a flat out race up a mountain on Zwift. Hello, we are at Zwift HQ in London and we're doing an esports showdown with the esports presenters, Ollie and I. We're gonna have a head-to-head race.
That's right. Now, Keira and I will be racing each other up the Epic KOM, one of Zwift's most famous climbs in Watopia. Epic KOM is just over 9K long, average gradient 4%, kicks up to 10% in places. Keira, why are we doing this?
So we thought it would be quite interesting because our watts per kilo is actually basically the same. Ollie's FTP is about 300 at 72 kilograms, and my FTP is about 250 at 60 kilograms. So we're going to be pretty close. So, how are you feeling, Ollie?
Well, I'm slightly nervous.
Did you have 3 Weetabix this morning?
The point is, it should be quite close between Keira and me. Zwift racing is all about your watts per kilo. Our watts per kilo is pretty much identical. Going up a climb, you know, there aren't as many variables, so it should be pretty similar. Keira, what's your strategy?
Get in your head. Mess with your mind. Also, be faster.
Love it. I'll be using power-ups and drafting. Okay, we are good.
So where's the finish then?
9k away. Easing into it. She's gone. She's gone up the right. Who's this guy? He's got me! That was hard, wasn't it?
Put it there, Ollie. But I think Ollie could have actually beaten me, to be honest. But I just got in his head.
She definitely got in my head.
Because I was riding harder than I knew I could go. But if you're chasing, in your head it's so much harder to chase than to attack.
And literally anyone at home can do that. You can just ride out to the bottom of the Epic KOM in Watopia. Mountain route is the quickest course. And just go for it, head to head.
That's all from the show this week. Be sure to join us next week for the final episode in this series. We will also be finding out who is crowned the winner of the Women's KISS Super League. So don't miss it. See you then. Bye.